Natalie here. Today we are making a gluten-free pumpkin pie that not only outshines its glutinous cousin, but will fool anyone to think it's the real deal. No one at Thanksgiving will know or guess it's gluten-free, and they will beg you for seconds. We explored in the last apple pie video the secret of the flaky, buttery goodness of a pie crust. Pumpkin pie has a special place in my heart because it does not make any sense to my German sensibilities. Why do Americans put a vegetable into a cake? One redeeming thing about pumpkin pie, it is served with whipped cream. And in Germany, all of our cakes are either with heavy cream or whipped cream or more cream and just cream. So I can deal with that. I did start enjoying the pumpkin pie after I came to terms with that pumpkin vegetable pie concept. Before we get started, I have to admit that I have cheated on the pumpkin pie recipe. I used butternut squash instead. If you want to use your real pumpkin pie filling recipe, go for it. I added ingredients, measurements, and places where you can buy the ingredients down below in the video description. Let's get started. Cut the ice-cold butter into cubes. You can also use vegetable shortening for a much flakier crust. Our gluten-free flour combination today is 40 grams of sorghum flour, 40 grams of millet flour, 45 grams of potato flour, not potato starch, potato flour, 40 grams of sweet rice flour, and 35 grams of tapioca starch. To learn how to make the crust by hand, check out the apple pie video. Dump the flour in the food processor. Add 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and quickly pulse the flours to combine them. Add a few butter cubes at a time, quickly pulse, add a few more butter cubes and continue pulsing. There should be some butter crumbs forming. At that point, add around 100 ml of ice-cold water. One quick pulse and then you should have small butter clumps. Transfer the clumps to a mixing bowl and press them together. Let the dough rest for 1 or 2 hours in the fridge. To roll out the dough, cut the dough into slices and arrange them in a circle. Take a second sheet of parchment paper and put it over the dough. Start rolling out the dough until it's about 1/4 inch thick, which is about 1/4 centimeter. Place the pie pan on the top of the dough and flip the parchment paper and the dough into the pan. Remove the parchment paper. You may need to add more dough to the edges of the pie pan. Just stick leftover dough to the edge. Crimping the pie crust is difficult. It takes a little bit of practice, so I'm quick showing it how I'm pushing my fingers into the dough. But as an alternative, just use a fork and use a fork pattern as I did with the apple pie, and that works just nice. I normally have to do a few passes with my fingers to make sure the crimp looks good. I'm cutting out here a paper circle, which I will place into the pie crust. I'm putting on a fancy silicone pie shield to prevent the pie crust from burning, but you can also easily make one with aluminum foil. Pour some dried beans into the pie form. There will be the baking weights. Pre-bake the pie crust for about 20 minutes at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Check that the crust shows some nice butter flakes. If not, just wait another 5 minutes. Remove the dried beans and the parchment paper from the pie form. That's how flaky the crust should look like. Let the pie crust cool down while you're making the filling. You can cut, peel, and cube 250 grams of butternut squash, or just buy them in the store cubed. Toss the butternut squash in 1 teaspoon of oil and spread it on a baking sheet. Roast the butternut squash in the oven until they are golden brown with some burnt edges. For the filling, measure 60 grams of sugar. Add 60 grams of light brown sugar, 1 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and 1 teaspoon of freshly grated ginger. I love the smell of fresh roasted butternut squash. Add 250 grams of the roasted butternut squash to a mixer. Add 3 eggs. And puree both of them until they are smooth. Pour the egg and butternut squash cocktail to the brown sugar. Give it a quick whisk. And add 250 milliliters of heavy cream. Whisk it one more time before you pour it into the pie filling. In case any spices get stuck at the bottom of the bowl, just quick give it a stir. And pour the rest of the filling into the form. Bake the pie for another 40 minutes. The top should be golden brown. If you shake the pie form, the center of the pie might jiggle a little bit. That's fine. You just don't want it liquid. Let the pie rest for a few hours, best overnight, so the custard can nicely firm up. Thank you for watching my obsession with making gluten-free baking deliciousness. Add any comments, like, share, and subscribe to my baking madness. Click the bell to make sure you get notifications about any upcoming videos.